And now it's time for your exclusive PlayStation E3 Experience post-show.
Everybody just
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Keighley, and welcome to the PlayStation E3 Experience Post Show. I hope you've had fun at this event. There's a lot more to come. For the next 30 minutes, you're going to get additional insight into some of the big games coming to PlayStation 4. These past few weeks, I've been traveling around to meet with developers to ask them pointed questions about their upcoming titles. And we're going to start right here at Naughty Dog in Santa Monica with the reveal of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. I sat down with Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley to get the latest, what we can expect from Nathan Drake on PS4. Okay, I'm here in the theater at Naughty Dog with Neil and Bruce. Guys, first of all, congratulations on The Last of Us, and today a big day with the reveal of the trailer for Uncharted 4. We've got a name for it now, right?
Yeah, Thief's End.
A Thief's End. First of all, I just want to kind of ask you guys about, your involvement in Uncharted 4 here. Came off The Last of Us. You've been working hard on the PS4 version of The Last of Us. I don't know how you have all this time, but you guys are involved now in kind of creating this this game. But, you'd gone through The Last of Us and made an incredible game there. So you guys have worked on previous Uncharted's. What did you sort of want to take from The Last of Us and roll into, Uncharted 4? Like, what does this game mean to you guys?
Well, it's interesting, Jeff, because working really close on Uncharted 2 and then taking ideas from that into The Last of Us and evolving what a set piece means and trying to get more grounded, more personal with that story. And then from there, coming back into the franchise, something that we love and is dear to our hearts. We get to go action, adventure, roller coaster, all the pacing and everything that we know Uncharted to be. But we're taking the core mechanics and the set pieces and pulling things down to the personal level and trying to get much more intimate with Nathan Drake and his story. But we want to retain all of that. We want to crank to 11 like we always do. But what you expect of Uncharted, so we're excited about that.
When you guys move forward with sort of this vision of Uncharted, how would you describe your approach to what the story will feel like?
We want to show a more desperate Nathan Drake. Again, raising the stakes for him, making it more personal at the same time. There's a cast of characters that we love. You get to hear Sullivan in this trailer. And then trying to see how to, someone that's been out of the adventure for a while, what is it that draws him back in and gets him slowly involved and re-obsessed with that life that he used to have before.
Yeah, and the tease obviously, hinted a little bit about let's go at this one last time and things like that. It almost had a little bit more of a somber tone maybe than other Uncharted. I don't know if that's going to necessarily bleed through the whole game, but how much of this is going to be sort of the Indiana Jones adventuring Nathan Drake versus sort of a more emotional Nathan Drake?
I mean, a lot of the stuff that Bruce and I had discussions was looking at the first three Uncharted, trying to understand the tone and the trajectory that the franchise was taking, and then to really challenge ourselves, how do we go more personal with this? And you can see hints of that in the trailer where, they're talking about he has to do this. There's something about this particular adventure that isn't about fame or fortune. It's about something that's really personal to him.
Sully, I know the risks, but come on, it's a surefire plan.
Also bring in those tropes that Uncharted allows, which is the buildings that collapse and the helicopters that come in and that kind of epic stuff, but at the same time it has a purpose because you're attached to those characters.
Now, from a performance perspective, is there anything, is it the same performance capture system, or is there anything different you're going to be able to do sort of narratively? I feel like there's even more expressions can be possible in the faces, right?
There's a lot more subtlety. We're using a blend shape system on top of a joint system, so we're able to get much more nuance, and you get skin rolling on top of bone, stuff that we weren't able to do before. As his eyebrows go up and you have wrinkles, you have blood that moves away from your skin, so the skin changes color.
So you're actually modeling Nathan's blood?
We're kind of modeling what that appears like on your skin, and again, our artists and our engineers are just the kind of detail that they can now get into is pretty staggering. And again, when you're seeing all this stuff, all this kind of tech, and gameplay flowing into cinematic and story getting laid on top of it, it's the sum of all those parts that is really kind of immersing you and putting you in the shoes of Nathan Drake.
So you said the shoes of Nathan Drake, so you do play Nathan Drake in this game?
Oh wait,
It's
I don't know.
We're here to announce that you actually play Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Now, you guys are working on this, but also The Last of Us is coming out for PlayStation 4. How is that going? I mean, it looks incredible based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, we're super proud of what the team's been able to do. The artists have done an amazing job, and then we're gonna hit 60 at 1080, so it's really a beautiful
We
game.
get to
It's
really
nice.
show off kind of the artistry that our amazing team did, and this was the way it was meant to look.
Awesome. You take the best of Uncharted with the best of Last of Us and put them together, and hopefully that's what we're going to get, because that's definitely a game I would love to play. So we look forward to seeing what's in store for us next year. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Joe.
Later, we'll tell you about your surprise gift from PlayStation. But now, another big surprise at the press conference, the incredible No Man's Sky. So let's head all the way to London to meet with the 4-person team at indie developer Hello Games.
Hi, welcome to Hello Games. Come on in, guys. So, No Man's Sky is a really strange game. It's all kind of procedurally created. So what that means is that actually it's computer generated, and like we don't even know what's out there. We don't build everything by hand or scripted or anything like that. You kind of start off in a cave and it's quite confined, but also quite nice to look at, and then work your way out into this like kind of alien but prehistoric jungle. And then you make a getaway, get into your ship, you fly out into space and actually get involved in a kind of a space battle, basically. And that follows all the way down onto the planet's surface and attack some more guys and then fly off and make your escape. Originally, it was just the 4 of us. In fact, for the longest time, it has just been the 4 of us working on it. And as a small team, I guess, we knew we needed to do something different to make a whole universe. We couldn't possibly make it ourselves.
When you're playing a lot of games now, you can feel yourself being steered through this experience, but what we wanted was to make a game where people are making their own stories, they're discovering things, they're exploring, and then they're able to go away and talk to their friends, and they'll have totally different stories, and that's a lot more interesting to us.
Although we have loads of options for things people do, the core aim that a lot of people will probably choose to go for is to get towards the center of our universe. And that definitely involves exploration, which you're going to need to build up resources, you're going to need to power up your ship in order to be able to do that. We don't really know exactly what the limits would be of creating that, but we'll push that as far as it can go.
There's loads of different ways to play the game, and there are various different ways to upgrade your suit, your gun, your ship. We want people to explore that and discover ways to play the game themselves. It's all part of the journey, part of the adventure, and in a weird way, we really enjoy it. You know, that's what we're in it for. No Man's Sky is making its console debut on PlayStation 4, and we're super excited about it.
Later, we'll catch up with more indie game developers and find out what's new with the Order 1886. But now, on to Seattle. It's not only home to Sucker Punch, it's also the setting for this year's biggest PS4 exclusive so far, Infamous Second Son. I caught up with Brian Fleming to get the first details on the new Infamous expansion, First Light. Okay, I'm over here at Sucker Punch with my good buddy Brian Fleming. Brian, great to see you. A big night, a surprise night for the Sucker Punch team with the Infamous story continuing with First Light. Tell us about it.
Well, First Light is a chance to kind of dig a little deeper into one of the characters from Second Son, Fetch, Abigail Fetch Walker, and it's a chance for us to go kind of into her backstory. She's one of our very favorite characters, and so it was a great chance for us to go a little deeper.
Yeah, so you showed a little bit of a trailer, a tease there. I think people weren't sure, is this a new Infamous game? How's it going to be released? So is this similar to like Festival of Blood, where you're releasing like kind of a standalone story?
It's a standalone PS4 title. It'll be downloadable, so sort of like Festival of Blood. But it's in fact the origin story of Fetch. So it's on canon. It's a real part of the Second Son and Infamous universe.
And it looks like you've got, the actress back, and you've got motion capture and all that. So this is a full-blown production?
Full-blown production.
Okay.
Now, we noticed at the beginning of the teaser there's snow and things like that. So are we going to see new weather effects in this one? Well, you know, there's certainly going to be some new environments. Yeah. We're going to actually visit Curtain Cay, the place where the conduits are all concentrated. We're going to be outside in some weather. We're going to visit Seattle, of course. Yeah. So it'll be a mix of old and new locations. Some exciting things for people to discover. All right. Now, Fetch obviously is known for her neon powers. Yes. So we're going to understand a little bit more of the backstory. We're going to find out about her history, how she first acquired these powers. It's really more of kind of her coming of age story and how she got to be the person she is. So we don't really delve into her life prior to being a conduit, but we really kind of explore what happened as she was developing her powers. Right, and obviously people that have played Second Son, you know her character, know this sort of history that she's had, but not fully explained. So this game will now kind of connect the dots. That's right. We'll sort of flesh all that out. You get a chance to experience it firsthand. Awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys are pretty deep into development on this. It's coming out later this summer? Yep. It's coming out in August. Okay. So August, and download it on PS4, of course, through PSN. And you don't have to have Second Son, even though you'd be crazy if you don't. Right? You don't have to have it, and I guess it's our job to make sure that there's a little something if you do. So. Okay, all right. Well, we'll see what more teases from the Sucker Punch guys. All right, we'll check out the brand new First Light coming later this summer from Sucker Punch. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, good to have you.
Still to come, we'll get the latest on Battlefield Hardline, Destiny, and Far Cry 4. But next, never bet against the Bat. Rocksteady's Arkham series has shown the true potential of comic book games. Developed in London, I sat down with Dax Jin to get the latest details on Scarecrow's return to Gotham.
Well, this is a next-gen Batman experience. I know I've been over with you guys at Rocksteady many times. You started this trilogy with such an incredible game, but now to bring that all to the next gen, we see obviously a massive open world. But what's new about this game for the next generation?
For us, it all started with the Batmobile. It really begins and ends with the Batmobile because it's such an iconic vehicle. It's such a legendary piece of Batman's universe. As soon as we made the decision, let's go for it with the Batmobile, all of our technical decisions really just flowed from that. We know this thing's got to drive at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We know it's got to be hard-hitting. It's got to create epic destruction in the city. We couldn't do that until we had our hands on next-gen horsepower. Once we could then deliver on the fantasy of driving the Batmobile, the rest of the game design really was built around that.
I got to play the battle mode of the Batmobile, incredible. So there's a lot of firepower in that thing.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to create a car that moved quickly, and that's what the pursuit mode is all about, but then engaging the battle mode in a much more kind of interesting and much more challenge-based way. So the transformation from pursuit mode into battle mode opens up so many awesome opportunities, not just for like offensive capabilities, but also problem solving and progression.
Now, you mentioned Scarecrow. First game you had Joker and Scarecrow. Those amazing Scarecrow moments I think everyone remembers from the first game.
I'm glad you're starting to see things my way.
Big Joker moments, obviously, in the second game. How big a role will Scarecrow play in this third game?
In Batman Arkham Knight, Scarecrow is the boss. He is the puppet master. He is the guy with the agenda, the plan, the scheme to destroy Batman once and for all. And he goes about that in his own unique way, because Joker was very chaotic. He wasn't about unifying anyone. It was just about destroying everything that he could, whereas Scarecrow can see the only way to destroy Batman is to bring the Rogues Gallery together, including the Arkham Knight, and take Batman down once and for all.
All that remains is for you to watch as I drag your beloved Gotham into oblivion.
Now, are there going to be some unexpected ways we interact with Scarecrow in this game?
What's going to happen in Batman Arkham Knight exclusively for PlayStation 4 owners, you can go head-to-head with Scarecrow in the Scarecrow Nightmare missions. And that really is looking back at the way that Batman and Scarecrow fought in Arkham Asylum, those kind of 100-foot crazy hallucinogenic encounters, but within the context of Gotham City itself.
So that's awesome that you guys are doing that. Is that something that will be out with the game on day one?
That is day one DLC for PS4 owners.
PS4 only, I guess, right? So, two incredible games on the last generation. You guys are starting the next gen with the end to this trilogy. How does that feel for you guys?
I guess the core of the relief is that the plan went to plan. We had this idea for Arkham Asylum, which was this kind of claustrophobic experience between Batman and Joker with Scarecrow playing this massive role. And then in Arkham City, really just one-on-one between Batman and Joker, leading up to Joker's death at the end of Arkham City, and then bringing back Scarecrow. that always felt like a narrative flow that made sense to us, really focusing on these massive characters that gamers love so much, that Batman fans know so much about. They've just done a spectacular job at ensuring that anyone who comes to an Arkham experience is really having a brilliant time and genuinely feeling like Batman every step of the way.
Victorian London is the setting for The Order 1886, a cinematic action game from Los Angeles-based developer Ready at Dawn. With the reveal of the Lycans, Ready at Dawn is ready to break down what we saw of the half-breeds in the press conference. All right, the PS4 post-show continues. I'm here with Rue from Ready at Dawn with the big demo of The Order 1886. Rue, tell us, what did you show today?
Well, today we finally answered one of the questions we posed about a year ago. You know, who is the mystery figure? Who's the enemy?
Right.
And who are these half-breeds? And we wanted to introduce that half-breed in a nice cinematic way. And what we showed on stage today was the reveal of the Lycan.
Yeah.
But our version of the Lycan. Something that you don't expect. It's something that I think people have already a certain, expectation of.
Right.
But what they find out in this IP that it's really not what you expect.
Let's talk quickly about the story, Galahad. I mean, it is an epic story. You guys have written a big script for it. It's very cinematic. What is the story of the Order?
The story of the Order, starts a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, when mankind, kind of de-evolves in a certain way, and these subspecies of half-breeds become who they are not because there's there's some infection or anything like that, but it really is about what happens to humanity if they were to split off genetically.
Are there multiple versions, different types of Lycan, different classes?
Yes, actually, what you'll see from the Lycans is that there is a certain hierarchy actually in the species, and that comes to not only the lore of the IP, but also the way you approach them and the way you fight them.
Okay.
The one that you've seen here is more of what we call an elder.
Right.
The elder Lycans, the ones that have lived longer and that are way more dangerous, and then you'll get another class, a subclass actually, that you'll be able to fight as well.
It seems like there's a lot of strategy to how you fight and combining sort of different weapons together and whatnot. So that applies to Lycan combat as well. You're going to have to be very strategic in how you take them down.
Absolutely, you'll have to be very strategic. Using just gunplay might not be the best solution.
Right.
You see it in the demo already. You can actually hurt them, you can push them back, but at the same time, you have to resort to a different type of combat, melee combat, to really engage them.
Oh, melee! Wow. All right, climbing on the Lycans.
You wait and
little
see.
God of War.
You'll see how it turns out to be pretty cool. Actually, it's something new that we've done for the game, and it's really going to show off not only the way we wanted to approach melee, but also integrating in this filmic experience that we've been talking about.
For people that may not be familiar with the Order, your vision for it is, it's a real epic story, right? With these characters. When I was playing it, you're in, letterbox like a movie in a movie house. It really feels cinematic, and that's cool, right?
Absolutely. From the very get-go, creating the IP, bringing it to life, making the game, we had to follow a certain doctrine here, and that aspect that we wanted to really showcase in this game has to go in every part of the game. You can't really talk about it just in one way and not the other. So yes, the aspect ratio is really to reinforce what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
The gameplay mechanics actually reinforces that too. The moment-to-moment gameplay that you not only see in the stage demo, but also what we show on the floor, is really kind of giving you an idea of what we really meant to do with this IP at the very beginning.
Destiny and Battlefield Hardline are still to come, but first I headed up to Montreal, Canada, where Ubisoft keeps pumping out the hits. After the success of Far Cry 3 and its nefarious villain boss, how much more evil can you get? I chatted with Dan Hay and Alex Hutchinson about how they're upping the ante in Far Cry 4. Dan, here we are in Montreal on the development floor with 350 people working right now on Far Cry 4.
Right.
So tell us, who are you playing on this game?
Okay, so you're playing as AJ Gale, who is this guy who is a little bit disassociated with Kirat, our location, right? Which is sort of nestled at the base of the Himalayas. He's from there originally, right? And he's been moved over to the West, and he's been sort of living this normal modern-day lifestyle. And then something happens that he kind of gets called back, and he has an opportunity to go back and discover sort of his roots. And so you enter this land where everybody knows who you are, but you don't really know what that means. So imagine if you were able to go to a place and almost the name of your last name was almost a weapon unto itself. It would mean that every single person that you met was either wanting to kill you or wanted to be your best friend.
I recognize those eyes anywhere.
We want to put you in the middle of that, and we want you to be able to discover and make the choices that you make. It's your choice.
Now, people may remember you probably from Assassin's Creed and stuff you worked on AC3. What excited you about getting involved in this franchise?
Yeah, so we had this idea very early on that, you know, if we could get people to bring their best friend along for the ride, then we could really reach a much bigger audience. So, you know, the anecdote factory, that sense that you can do anything in this world, you have a whole lot of different toys, different animals, different weapons, different vehicles. You know, if you could bring your best friend along, put them in those vehicles, pass weapons around, create your own stories with each other, then, you know, that felt like a sort of central pillar that we could bring to the game. And if you think about the sort of structure of the map in a Far Cry game, these outposts, and we've extended them to include fortress outposts, which are bigger, more dangerous areas, but all of them are these little nuggets of content that you can approach from any side. And so what we've done is try to litter all of the tools, you know, helicopters and elephants and other, you know, weapons all around the outside, so that you and your buddy can come up, sort of circle this gameplay, figure out how you want to tackle it, and then choose to do it your way.
And you know, obviously the villain, you know, we had an amazing villain boss in Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4. I'm sure when you're thinking about it, it's like, how do you top that character? How do you even try to, right?
It's super tough, right? I mean, let's be honest, boss was lightning in a bottle. And what you want to be able to do is say, can you capture that again, and can you trump it? Can you top it? And so I think that we started to look at Pagan Min, and we started to understand, you know, who is this guy? You know, Voss was very physical. Voss was very much somebody who's in your face, very much a bully in some ways.
Yeah.
Pagan Min needs to be different.
You and I are gonna tear shit up!
Now, I know you're doing something cool for PlayStation fans exclusively with this too, which is a really innovative idea. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we wanted to you know, throw something out there to fans. So if you buy it on a PS3 or a PS4, you'll get a bunch of golden tickets or keys to Karat. Right. Which you can pass out to your friends. And that means that as long as you're online, they can engage in the Guns for Hire mode, they can go online, play in the open world, even if they don't have the game yet.
All right, well, thanks for chatting with us. We can't wait to learn more about Far Cry 4. It's coming out this November for PS4 and PS3.
Ever since announcing the PS4, Sony has made it a point to support independent developers behind games like Octodad and the recently released Transistor. These are small teams that can afford to do...
Yeah. Dozens of weapons right now, 60 plus weapons, and we just keep adding them over time. It's a really hard game. It's one of those games
that's what people like, is a challenge. So this is going to be coming out for PlayStation 4, Vita, and PlayStation 3?
Yeah, all three.
All right, I'm here with Jake from 17-Bit to talk about a game that was announced last year on stage at the Sony press conference, Galaxy. So for people that may have seen a little footage but don't really know the story of it, what is Galaxy?
Galaxy is, at a first glance, it looks like an old school shoot 'em up. It looks like a side-scrolling kind of spaceship shooter. The truth is, we're utilizing really modern AI, a lot of physics-driven stuff. It's a very next-gen experience, but in this kind of classic shell. So it's really kind of 2D dogfighting simulation, but the combat is as intense as something like Halo or Far Cry.
Do we know when it's coming out? Later this year, next year?
Late this year, yeah.
Okay, late this year.
Yeah.
Galaxy on PS4 first. Awesome. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
EA's Battlefield franchise has gone everywhere from World War II to the far future. But for the next installment, EA is taking you to the mean streets of Los Angeles with the cops versus robbers action of Hardline. Oh, and if you're excited about that beta that was just announced at the press conference exclusively on consoles for PlayStation 4, here's a tip. Stick around until the end of the show.
Okay, I'm here with Steve Papoutsis from Visceral Games. And Steve, a big day for the team today because you guys announced Battlefield Hardline, a brand new product that is made in partnership between Visceral and DICE, right?
That's right, yep.
Now, Battlefield Hardline, this is not Battlefield 4 Hardline, this is Battlefield Hardline. Tell us, how does this fit into the Battlefield universe?
So this is kind of its own unique entry. So as you said, we're not Battlefield 5, we're Battlefield Hardline. And we're really trying to dive deep into kind of that fantasy that people may have around cops and robbers and the things that occur in kind of that setting. So this is just another entry into the larger franchise.
Right. Now tell us the name Hardline. What does that mean?
I think as you think about cops and criminals, right, you know, there is this hard line, you know, defined between right and wrong. And I think our game kind of takes a look at that, examines that line, and really it speaks to what we're trying to accomplish, right? Like, is there a hard line between what's right and wrong? Is it good people doing bad things for good reasons? I mean, where does that line get blurred, and when does it become a hard line? And that was the idea that we had with that name.
So if I'm a player who, you know, has enjoyed Battlefield 4, how is this the same or different than that game?
So I think the first and foremost thing is really we're taking advantage of the wonderful rock, paper, scissors gameplay sandbox that Battlefield is known for. So when you jump in, you still have all that stuff. You've got the different vehicle mix, right? So this is a different spin on it. Clearly, we're not going to drop tanks in, but SWAT teams actually have real heavy vehicles like the Bearcat. They also have cool interceptor cars, really fast cars that they drive. They've got motorcycles. Criminals have all kinds of cool vehicles as well. We've got planes, we've got helicopters, we've got a lot of those things that are familiar, yet totally different in our game.
Well, Steve, congrats. Big day for you guys and Team Visceral. Battlefield Hardline is out there, announced. It's coming out this fall.
Yeah, it's coming out this fall. And Jeff, hey, thanks a lot for talking about it. Really excited about it. And I want to give a shout out to the team.
Yes.
Really working hard on this. And this is an awesome day for us to be able to get out there and start talking about the great work they're doing.
Back when the PlayStation 4 was announced in February 2013, the team at Bungie was on stage to reveal Destiny, their bold new vision for a shared world shooter. Up in Seattle, I visited the studio as they were preparing for E3 and sat down with creative director Chris Barrett.
All right, I'm up here in Seattle at Bungie hanging out with Chris, who is the creative and art director on Destiny. Chris, you've been at Bungie for 14 years, and this is a special year for you guys since we were just a few months away from the release of Destiny. You just showed a brand new video on stage at the Sony press conference. Tell us about it. Hints at some of the story aspects I didn't know yet.
Sure, yeah. We really wanted to set up the universe and let players know what they're going to be experiencing when they get into the game the first time, sort of set up the world, how the player meets the traveler for the first time, or what the universe is going to look like that they're exploring. So the map, for example, really shows where players are going to be able to go in the game, the adventures they're going to be able to have. We really wanted to set that up.
And you've got, that map, as you said, talks about, we saw Mars where the piece starts, with present day. And I know there's things like the moon and Earth, and these are all places when you play Destiny you'll be able to go to in a somewhat non-linear fashion too, right?
Yeah, we really want to set up the map or the universe like an old pirate map, like the feeling you get when you look at an old map and over out in the sea there's sea dragons and it's part of it's unexplored. Like we really wanted to get that feeling with an ancient map, so players will be able to see Mars when it opens up for the first time. They'll be able to go there. They'll be able to choose between these different places in our solar system. And really want to evoke that feeling of adventure and exploring this new frontier.
And tell us about exploring with your friends. I know, you guys are obviously playing the game now here at work and at home. So you're not just traveling by yourselves, but you're meeting up with friends on these planets because it's all one connected world.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may be, running through a dungeon or, popping out on the surface of the moon and, you'll see somebody else, two other people run by and they're, shooting other players or, jumping over a cliff or, whatever, just coming across them in the game really makes the world feel alive. You may choose to, follow them around and go to an event together or, just go your separate ways. It's really important for us to create a world. We're not just creating a game anymore, like a world, a place that you want to go visit and go back to. And so it's really key to have those sort of unexpected chance encounter and seeing other people just running around the world makes it feel alive.
But I know when you guys first started thinking about this game, you created some key images to sort of inspire the team to think about, what Destiny is going to look like. And there's one image that's a beautiful image, and that was something I know that you actually showed to Activision to pitch the game. What was special about that image when you got there that said, that's Destiny?
Right. Well, that's definitely the goal, was to find an image that could sum everything we wanted up into one picture that you could show somebody and they knew, which is what you're alluding to. It's got spaceships, it's got landing on some strange planet, it's got, two adventurers looking off into the horizon. And really kind of captured that in one image. And it has a tiger.
No tiger class on the game, right?
No tiger class.
And tell me about that sense of authorship that people have as they play this game, because you've created this world, but players are impacting the world, and this is a game that will evolve over time. So how does that affect from sort of an art director standpoint? Are these sort of planets and the selection of, is it going to evolve as players dive deeper into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a great world is one that things happen in, that things are changing, that new enemies are coming into the world or new events are happening. As you're even on a small scale, like when you and your friends are just running across Mars, like something crazy might happen. There might be some huge thing in the sky, and all of a sudden you have to deal with those cabal that just landed and take them out and then go on your way. But it's really key to make it feel like the world is alive, and that Like, not only our players, but there are events that happen on a
global scale.
Yeah, exactly.
As you mentioned, the beta is coming out this July, first on PlayStation 4, but PlayStation Nation is also going to get some other exclusive stuff for Destiny, and let's take a look at that right now.
Destiny arrives on PS4 and PS3 on September 9th, and only PlayStation players will get access to an exclusive multiplayer map named Exodus and an exclusive strike on Mars called Dust Palace, a cooperative mission with an epic boss battle. More details about these experiences will be revealed soon, but there will always be more Destiny on PlayStation, including exclusive ships, armor, and more. If you want an extended preview of what Destiny has to offer, PlayStation Nation gets their hands on the beta first, starting on July 17th.
All right, well, that about wraps up the PlayStation E3 experience, but there is one last surprise. How about actually playing some of the games on tonight's show on your PS4 over the next week? Well, you've got a special access code on the back of your badge. Enter that code at us.playstation.com/E3 experience code, and you will get access to the first look alpha of Destiny this Thursday, June 12th. And that's not all. How about hitting the mean streets of Battlefield Hardline? There is a beta version coming out, and if you go to the website and enter your code, next Monday, June 16th at 9 a.m. Pacific, you will have access to the beta of Battlefield Hardline as part of the PlayStation E3 experience.
Next week, you're also getting codes for a $5 PSN voucher and a 30-day free trial of Music Unlimited with a global library of over 25 million songs.
And also make sure to pick up your special limited edition commemorative PlayStation poster at the theater. Thanks again for experiencing E3 with us in theaters. If you have any feedback or thoughts, send me a tweet at Jeff Keighley or at PlayStation. Hope to see you again next year for E3.